Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Saturday evening to you all. I hope you guys are doing awesome out there tonight and had yourselves a wonderful day. And I hope everyone's been having a great weekend out there so far. I thought I'd jump on here and give you guys an update on this active weather expected for this coming work week. We're going to have multiple winter storms. It's going to be full send ahead with the videos. I can't guarantee every night I'll have a nighttime video, but I'll always guarantee you I'll have the morning video unless I'm sick or something major's going on or something like that. But we're going to be pumping out a lot of videos, a lot of information because there is a lot going on. So in this video, we're not going to speak on what's happening right now with the winter storm this weekend. And, it's going to snow very heavy, in New York City, Boston, just basically New England tonight. We're not going to speak on that winter storm at all. We already gave you one last update on that in this morning's video. It's kind of a now thing. We just got to see what happens. So if you're a winter weather fan, enjoy it. If not, hunker down if you live in New England. We're going to focus in on next week. So there's going to be multiple rounds, multiple winter weather events. And I think maybe both of them, but I definitely think one of them could have a shot at being a major winter storm. So we're going to speak on this. The first area we'll speak on is the central U.S. The second area will be the eastern U.S. and everything will be broken up pretty good for you folks timestamp wise to take advantage of, to jump ahead to each individual portion of the video that you want to pay attention to. So with that being said, if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. I'm very close to 100,000 subscribers. We are crawling our way there since covering the southern winter storm a couple weeks ago. I mean, when I tell you we're crawling, we are literally just moving at a snail pace, but it's going to happen when it happens, and I'm looking forward to seeing when it goes from the 90,000 range to that 100,000 mark. That's going to be just a fantastic accomplishment for not only me, but for us, this entire channel, this family that we got. So I'm really excited for it, looking forward to it over the next several days or a couple weeks, however long it takes. If you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put it in the comments below. So let's talk about the central U.S. first. If you're tuning in, you live in the mid-Atlantic, excited about some snow next week, hey, skip this portion of the video, go to the eastern U.S. timestamp, and I got you covered there. But if you live in, the middle of the country, this is your show first. So let's speak on it. We're moving west to east, so obviously we need to speak on the west first, the central U.S. So latest GFS. Let's start off Monday morning, February the 10th. If you hear any loud noises in the background, I got a lot of kids still in my house from the sleepover yesterday, so you might hear a random yell in the background, might see some movement behind me. Not sure how many cats are in the room right now. So we're starting off Monday morning, February 10th. So here in the next couple days, the latest GFS. Not a whole lot going on, but that's going to change. We start to make our way into Monday afternoon. We're starting to see some light moisture returns, a lot of cold air, kind of, I would say, cutting the lower 48 and a half. It's not coming very far south. It's just basically has taken over about half the country. But snow in the blue begins to, become widespread across Kansas, Missouri, a little bit of snow up here further north. Colder temperatures will allow for better accumulations. And the GFS continues into a later Monday evening, and we got a winter weather event going on. Now, I don't want to say this is a winter storm because, the global models aren't showing very heavy winter weather in this. So who knows? This might just be winter weather advisory type stuff, but we'll have to see. So we're making our way into Tuesday morning, the 11th. Just like I said, the heavier moistures in Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, lighter moistures in the cold air. So this is light snow, even a wintry mix here in northwestern Oklahoma, maybe a little ice in northern Arkansas, very possible. We're going to get more and more detailed about this as we get closer. But as we start to make our way eastward, kind of into western Kentucky, maybe even southern Illinois and Indiana, this is snow, and it could be heavy. We got to figure this one out. But this is lighter the further north you get, and we continue to sort of move into Tuesday afternoon, the 11th, and a little bit of cold air sinks a little further south, and we start to get an icy mix in northern Arkansas. Snow, maybe flying around Springfield. GFS has consistently been colder. Some snow starts to make into the northern counties of Oklahoma, snowing lightly. In Kansas, and we continue to move forward, and then that system sort of detaches itself and continues to head eastward. And then there's another system, and we're starting to grow a lot more confidence that there's definitely going to at least be two systems next week. And it's almost going to look like both systems are connected because one's going to follow the other so closely. Well, we start to get into the middle of the night, Tuesday night, here comes more moisture. riding across all this cold air. So, I mean, as soon as the snow leaves in Kansas, it returns from the west. This could bring some snow to eastern Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, snow up here in Wyoming, northern Oklahoma once again. There's a little bit of a connection here. A little cold air further south. So we're getting into Wednesday morning. We got some freezing rain in the pink, sleet, and orange. Heavier snow now becoming more widespread up here in Kansas City up to Omaha. Kansas, the entire state, northern Missouri, heavy snow moving in. And this just looks like a more powerful storm system. 1,004 millibar low cutting across areas of Louisiana and Arkansas. Look at all this ice in the pink and orange. And this turns into a significant winter weather event from Kansas to Columbia, Missouri. I wish it was Columbia, South Carolina. That's where I live. Columbia, Missouri, St. Louis, getting into Peoria. And then we got snow. Is this going to be the big one for Chicago? This turns into an all-out snowstorm for Chicago, all the way up to Milwaukee, snow all the way up to Des Moines, Iowa, and we got heavy snow falling in the northern Indiana, and then this begins to move into the Great Lakes region, and this is getting into the middle of the night next Wednesday into Thursday. And looks like we got a kind of a winter battleground here in central Indiana, and this continues to move on out, and I think that one could be more significant. And I mean, hey, we're not even through the week next week, and we've already had 2 winter weather events. So we start to get into our Friday. Anything else behind that? It is quite possible that we're going to have something else after that too. And maybe more snow starting to move back in. Cold air gets bottled up to a little bit further to the north again, and a little bit of a ridge flex. So this is going to allow most of our energy to travel to the north, and we could get some snow becoming widespread Friday and Saturday for the northern sections of the country. And then this can turn to a powerful system itself this weekend into the Great Lakes region. This will be storm number 3. So, and then that moves on out. Let's just stop it right there, because there's no point in getting any deeper into this than that, because there's already so much to figure out. I mean, between now and Friday. Now, it doesn't look like the latest Euro's running. I'm moving this all. I'm sorry, guys. I'm all over the place. It only goes out 144 hours out anyway. So let's just look at the latest Euro, or the afternoon Euro. So same thing. We start to get in the Monday evening, and then we're starting to get into Monday night. Like, this is the middle of the night, Monday night. Some light snow breaking out. It's definitely a warmer run. This is all rain for example, in northern Arkansas, southern areas of Missouri, where the GFS has more winter weather. And like I said, it keeps most of the heavier moisture on the warmer side. So there is a winter weather side of this, kind of overspraying that cold air. And just some light snow, light icing. Not a big event from this first system. It turns maybe into a more significant event as you progress into like Kentucky points east, which we'll talk about here in a second. And then once again, there goes the first round. Moisture just hangs out. I'm going to talk about some flooding rain potentials too. You know, if you're tuning in from the deep south, the only thing you're going to have to worry about is flooding from a lot of rain. And we'll speak on that at the tail end of the video. But then same thing. Right after this system, a lot of moisture begins to shoot off the Rockies. Well, it's a low pressure really that yanks up a lot of moisture from the south. Snow breaks out across the high plains, and then it has a lot more juice to it. So this is 1,004 millibar low in eastern Texas Wednesday morning, bringing a lot of moisture with it and to the north. And this looks like a major winter storm in the middle of the country. Kansas, maybe up to Nebraska, and even showing some significant icing, if this is correct, into Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Amarillo would be ice, and then this continues to progress as a 999 millibar low. I'd watch out for some severe weather too in the deep south with a 999 low cutting across the Mississippi Delta. Yeah, you're probably going to have a severe weather threat, at least the low end. It looks like there isn't a whole lot of heavy moisture on the Euro into that cold air, but that could change. But it cranks up 999 low going into southwestern Ohio. Look at all that ice. It's the middle of the night, Wednesday night into Thursday next week. Nasty ice in Indianapolis. Look at this corridor of heavy snow shooting through just north of St. Louis into Chicago. Okay, that moves in. And same thing with the GFS. You got another system that follows, but it looks a little bit more wonky and everywhere. Not as significant looking as the GFS. So what about this snow signal? And we'll just connect all this together. This is what's happened over the last 24 hours up here. So just ignore this. We're going to progress this forward. The Euro Ensemble blends about 51 members together. And you're going to notice there's this signal that pops up. Man, I did not pull up my cursor. That stinks. But this signal right here, this is for like kind of this area of Kansas into Missouri, and then getting into southern Illinois, Indiana, and then Kentucky. This is for the first event. Doesn't show much. Now look at the second event as we progress into Wednesday. That is a loud signal with the second system. Loud. For a major winter storm from Kansas. I mean, maybe even starting in Colorado. Need to slow down. Southern Nebraska, all of Kansas, even southern areas of Oklahoma, right through Missouri, through the Midwest. That is a 3 to as much as a 6-inch snowfall mean or average going through this area. That's a strong signal for a winter storm mid to late week next week. And there's also an icing element to this also that you're not seeing, and we'll focus more on that when we get closer. But there's probably going to be a corridor of ice on the southern areas of the snow. And this isn't a forecast, guys, but it's a signal. And then we go into the weekend, you can see how the signal grows even more. So you can see those numbers accumulate even more, grow. That means there's another round of moisture with cold air around. So this is between now and about the next 9 days. And that is that's over a 7-8 inch snowfall mean in Chicago. So your streak might be about to come to an end in Chicago of not really any significant snow. I think you've gotten about 9 or 10 inches of snow this winter, but it's just been accumulated off multiple lighter events, I believe, from what my understanding. And then we look at the GFS ensemble. Same thing. This is for what's happened over the last 24 hours up here in the Great Lakes region. And then we progress this forward. This is kind of the first event. It's a little bit more excited about it than the Euro. This is through Tuesday. And then we start to get into Wednesday. And you notice how it begins to explode over Kansas. And then we go all the way into Thursday evening. That is a hefty signal, which the GFS ensemble tends to overdo things as far as snowfall. But that's over a 1/2 foot snowfall mean in Kansas into Missouri. And, you got about a 4 or 5 inch mean in Chicago. St. Louis, a little bit less. Kansas City, big mean. And then we progress this all the way through the weekend here. We start to get about a week out, and we'll just stop it here. So this is about through Sunday morning. That is a strong signal for multiple winter weather events through the plains, the Midwest, the Great Lakes region. There's going to be ice too with this also. So we continue to move forward here. One thing that's very impressive to me that stands out is the blend of all models for the central U.S. So this is the Great Lakes region. Like I said, this is the first event. Now watch as we progress this. Blend of all models typically is pretty conservative. We progress this forward. There's the first event. Here's the second event that I think is going to be a major winter storm. And then we'll just go on and extend it all the way about a week out. This is blending all model guidance together. And you have just about a 12-inch, a foot snowfall. It's printing out about a foot of snow for Chicago. Around 4 to 5 for St. Louis. Des Moines over a foot. Kansas City, same thing. I mean, Topeka's a lot. Omaha, like 6 to 12 inches. And there is going to be an icing signal with this too. Now, it's not that loud. This blends all model guides together, but this is showing a little signal for ice with this too. So that's the central U.S. We're going to be breaking down a lot of stuff next week. Now, this is the eastern U.S. We'll start this off with Monday evening, okay? As we move forward here, I do want to mention the GFS is trending away from, it's trending away from light snow into northern North Carolina, southern Virginia Monday morning. But that could change. Mesoscale models might handle that a little bit better. But as we're starting to get, this is Tuesday morning. Snow's overspreading Kentucky, almost the entire state of Kentucky, except maybe the far southern counties of Kentucky. Tennessee is just you can almost smell the snow. You're so close to it on this run of the GFS. This brings snow into western Virginia, southern West Virginia, and this is definitely a more southerly, colder scenario. This wants to bring winter weather as far south as the northern counties of North Carolina. And look how long this event is. This starts to move in Tuesday morning into the D.C. area, all of Virginia, the Delmarva area. And it looks like it stops. I would say based off this run, the furthest north this gets is southeast PA, southern New Jersey. And this continues. I mean, it moves in Tuesday morning, lasts all the way to Tuesday evening, and we just got this continuous push of moisture And it kind of has one last hurrah as we're getting into Wednesday morning with heavy snow still falling. There's going to be a corridor of ice with this too. And this continues, and it finally wraps up maybe Wednesday evening, but it lingers around so long that here comes another system right behind it, which will, by the way, be much warmer, but this could throw freezing rain on top of heavy snowpack that doesn't even have a chance to melt in this area. But with a low pressure cutting across the Ohio Valley, this could bring, let's back it up a little bit, this could bring a lot of heavy snow into Cleveland at first, but might switch it to ice. But Detroit, this could be a big winter storm for you guys. But this is cutting across the Northeast and just wants to bring a nasty, icy mix across New England. It'll remain heavy snow in the upper portions of New England. But this is getting into Thursday, and then that moves in. And then the moisture doesn't stop. We get a little break here, but there could be another system after that into the weekend, more powerful system. This is kind of a winter weather going to rain kind of event for some, but this stays all snow for the Great Lakes region, southern Ontario, and wants to bring another event into New England, but it's rain for a lot of areas that previously got winter weather in the storms before this. And then that moves in and out, tries to throw you guys a one or two McFlurries, McDonald's reference here, and like Southeast Virginia, Northeast North Carolina as we're getting into next Monday morning, but who knows if that'll happen. That's so far out. But what about the latest Euro? Euro is warmer with this first system, no doubt. It does not have that snow line all the way down to, let's back it up a little bit. This is Tuesday morning, the 11th. It keeps it mainly raining in just southern Kentucky, but there's a sharp cutoff here. Heavy snow begins to move in, a little bit of cold air damming helping to push some cold air into this area. And this is, I'll tell you, the Euro has turned it to the GFS. And this is a wet, heavy snowstorm for Virginia. It's like a Virginia special, West Virginia. DC, you're kind of on the northern edge of the heaviest stuff, but this could easily trend a tick north for you guys. And I think you're going to get snow from this regardless. And Delmarva getting heavy snow Tuesday evening. Tidewater, will this make it all the way to Virginia Beach, Norfolk? I'm not sure. Richmond, what about you guys? GFS says absolutely. Euro says, hey, it could be snow to rain. And then as we're getting into Wednesday morning, it's kind of ending as rain, with the GFS kind of keeps it all snow, but it's ending as a lot of freezing rain in western Virginia, eastern West Virginia. And then there's like a connection, like it doesn't even stop with the first system. And then here comes that big old system right behind it. Low pressure cutting across Kentucky. This brings a quarter of very heavy snow into northern Indiana, northwest Ohio, southern lower Michigan, including Detroit. Nasty ice into Cleveland. 996 low cutting through Ohio is not going to do it for a lot of people. And brings another winter weather event into Chicago. Well, Chicago too, but I definitely meant to say Boston. And it starts off with snow, quickly goes to icy mix, and then everybody gets nuked with rain after that. And then there could be another system behind that too. We just got to kind of watch the next one. This system that comes in this weekend, which will technically be the third system, could be quite powerful, but it could be very warm too. I think it's going to be highly amped up, which normally means we have a lot of rain with this, but this could be a powerful system, like 999 millibar low, but this is all rain for southern New England. So this is, a winter weather pattern for a lot of people, but it could be one of those things where one storm, does it for you winter weather-wise, the next is all rain. But there's clearly, in my opinion, 3 storms to watch. 2 is we're pretty steady on. And they actually can almost connect. The one is separated by a few days. But a lot going on, guys. Euro ensemble we'll do in 2-day periods. So we're doing in 48-hour increments. So you're going to see this stuff in the Northeast disappear and then stuff south of that appear. So the latest Euro gives you guys a couple inch snowfall mean or average into Kentucky. But southern Kentucky, not as much. And it really just kind of keeps this a really skinny corridor of a several inch snowfall mean through West Virginia, and then the mid-Atlantic, the Delmarva. Remember, this is in 48-hour periods, and that's a solid look. And then watch how that kind of disappears, and then the next footprint of snow, the follow, is further north. Cuts through the Midwest, to the Great Lakes region, southern Ontario, all the way into the New England area. And then the weekend threat, maybe even a little bit further north, but that could be a powerful winter storm for some areas too. It's crazy. It's like, here's a big winter storm signal there. That disappears. Here comes the next one almost in the same area. So no shortage of winter weather. This is definitely a solid winter weather pattern. Just relentless winter storms for areas further north. And then the GFS ensemble, we're going to do this. Let's just do it as a whole. So let's back it up here. This is what's going on right now, the weekend deal. Watch how that snowfall mean increases. I mean, we got over a 6-inch snowfall mean down here in the mid-Atlantic. And then watch how the signal increases. And I mean, let's just go all the way through about 9 days out. There is a pretty daggum sharp cutoff of people. I mean, in northern North Carolina, you can almost smell the snow. Same thing with Tennessee. But it is just that cold air boundary just does not want to budge, unfortunately. This is the blend of all models for like the mid-Atlantic for that first event early this coming week. And I mean, the blend of all models showing you guys, a decent winter weather event. It's going to be enough to prompt a winter storm warning. I think it will for some areas. But, it wants to throw you a bone down here in Richmond. It's not a forecast, a couple inches of snow. And then several inches of snow into Baltimore, D.C., Charlottesville, Roanoke, certainly. And there's an ice signal with this too, and it's pretty loud once you get in the southwest of Virginia, and in areas of southern and southeast West Virginia, over a 1/4 inch of a freezing rain average in this area right here. And just taking kind of a look at everybody as a whole, this is the ice signal as a whole through about a week out. Okay, but this is the snow signal. And if you do it in kind of 12-hour increments here, okay, here comes our event for the weekend, moving in and out. Okay, here comes the next, here comes that event for early this week. Here comes the event for mid to late work week. There it is. It's a pretty strong signal right there. It's getting into Thursday morning into Friday. And then here comes the other signal right behind that. A little bit of a different kind of directional flow to it. But, if I kind of just fumble through some of these models, guys, one thing I really want to take a closer look at is sort of the mid-Atlantic here. Let's look at this. This is the GFS for the events Tuesday into Wednesday. I mean, it wants to dump over a foot of snow for central VA. About a 1/2 foot of snow in D.C., and it really hits Richmond very hard, but there's a sharp cutoff to the south. Very sharp cutoff. It wants to throws a little bit of sleet, but that snow is pretty wild. It's probably overdone. This is the latest Euro. It's probably going to give us the 18Z Euro. It is. The latest Euro is further north. Wants to dump, but even this wants to dump 8-9 inches of snow on D.C. and the Baltimore. Several inches of snow. This would be a big winter storm for this area. Probably the biggest of the year for some folks in this region. So, in my opinion, this is going to be a big event for the Mid-Atlantic. I think the first wave of moisture will be big, probably the biggest for the Mid-Atlantic. The second, probably the biggest for the middle of the country, through the Midwest, the Great Lakes region. But this already has some people talking. And one thing I will mention, and I'm going to do this on the fly, so y'all bear with me here. Winter weather. All right, work with me here. One thing I'll mention is the winter weather outlook. I mean, they're already honking the horn of this, guys. So, I mean, in that blue area, that's where you have a 50 to 70% chance of pretty much accumulating winter weather. And then this lighter shade of blue, almost greenish color right here, that's a 70 to 90% chance. And I mean, there is even a 10 to 30% chance that extends into Greensboro once it's Salem, and you got this 30 to 50% chance that gets all the way down to almost Boone. But this event will certainly be significant for this area. And then you get into Thursday, and heck, this is for the event after that. And this is the event, now the first event. This is the second event. It's going to be a significant winter storm, I think, for certain areas. And I mean, this is the Friday event. goes for the Northeast, and then Saturday there's that next system. So it's not just Mitch that sees it. National Weather Service actually does too. 3 different systems. Wild week out ahead. It's going to be a busy week too because it's my first week of soccer. Yeah, so you guys pray for me, but we're going to continue to pump out this information, keep you guys updated. Share the channel, guys. I typically don't say stuff like that, but let's try to get this information out. Get some growth from the channel. I don't tell everybody to subscribe and just honk the horn at that all the time, guys. You know me, I try to just spit out the information and keep it rolling here, but it would be cool to pick up some, I guess what I'm trying to say is it would be really cool to pick up some more people from different areas of the country, especially the central areas of the country that could get a powerful winter storm out of this. I know, very grateful to have a lot of people from the Northeast, and one area of the country that's really cool that I have a lot of people from is the Great Lakes region. A lot of loyal followers in the UP and Michigan, which is always really cool. So thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll do it again tomorrow morning. God bless.